Hello my little aliens, how are you doing today? My name is Amber and I hope you're doing very well, because you deserve to be. Now today I've got a bit of a serious topic that I want to discuss, I guess, and it's not easy for me. I like to try to keep this channel a little bit lighthearted and, you know, bring a smile. And also just in my daily life, I don't generally delve into my emotions and how I feel and really ruminate on it. So none of this is easy or normal for me, but it's something that I feel is really important, and I said so in my intro video. Sometimes I just need to discuss things that are really important to me and things that I think should be important to you and to society in general. And so here we are, ready to discuss. It'll be pretty one-sided until you get down in the comments below. My memory card is about to run out of space. Okay, I'm back after that little memory card thing. So yeah, today I want to discuss something that's really important to me personally, and something that I just sort of struggle with, I guess. And it's the fact that I sometimes feel too queer. Logically, I know that this is ridiculous, that there's no such thing as too queer. That's not a concept that exists, no matter how many people want to tell you that it is, you know, it just doesn't. But there are things about myself that I genuinely don't like because in my mind, they're too queer, and I struggle with filling in stereotypes, and because I grew up with I don't know how deep I should get with this. I grew up with a family that I think was always worried that I was queer, and I grew up very much rebelling against that because I didn't want to be this thing that my family thought I shouldn't be. You know, I didn't want to be someone who was different and outside of the norm and someone who has to, you know, fight every day. I didn't want any of that. I never wanted that. And so I guess like subconsciously, I just have these things about myself that I just hate. They make me feel awful and hideous and disgusting, and it's sad. And like, I don't feel this way about anyone other than myself. You know, if I see a queer person who might be conforming to stereotypes, I don't think any less of them at all. I don't think that they're a bad person or disgusting or that they need to change anything about themselves, because so much of our community is about and should be about accepting yourself as you are. Because, you know, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my sense of fashion is sort of boyish, and I guess what some would call butch. I've obviously got really short hair, and I love my hair, and yet sometimes I feel gross about it, and I want to grow it out. And I hate that, because I hated my long hair. I hated it so much my whole life. And now I finally got something that I'm happy with and that I genuinely really like and think looks good on me. And yet there's a part of me that says, no, you look awful, you look... And you know, I hate that part of me, and that part of me hates the rest of me. So there's a lot going on right in here. You know, I didn't even discover about myself. I didn't discover that I was queer until my senior year of high school. I was like 17, 18 years old. And, you know, I'm 21 right now. So it hasn't been that long, and I struggle with accepting myself for who I am and who I always have been. And, you know, just a couple years ago, when I first figured out that I was queer, I had completely convinced myself that I would never come out to anyone ever in my life. I was just gonna keep it under wraps and I guess ignore it, because, you know, since I'm bi, I have what some people in the community would call a privilege. I don't actually think it's a privilege. I think it's awful. I have the privilege of being straight passing if I want to be. And so I figured if I could pass for straight, why not? Why not just like guys and talk about guys and ignore every attraction that I have to girls and, you know, anyone else? Why not just pretend that that doesn't exist on the outside so that you don't have to go through the terror of coming out to the people who you love and having them view you differently? And yeah, why not spare myself all of that? And I've come a really long way from that place that I was in, and I'm really proud of how far I've come because I am publicly out. Obviously, I'm on the internet talking about it right now. I'm out to my entire family. And yet, coming out never ends. You know, people say, oh, when did you come out? How was it? What was your coming out experience? My coming out experience is every day of my life, you know? Every day I have to weigh the pros and cons of coming out to a coworker or one of my fellow students, or, you know, do I just try to blend in, or do I tell them who I am? Which one is harder? Is it harder to hide part of yourself or face the judgment of telling someone who you are? That's something that I struggle with every day, you know? I also just struggle with my attraction to girls. It makes me feel sometimes very bad about myself and gross. And I know that I'm not. Generally, I know that, and I don't feel guilty about my attraction to girls. Sometimes I do. And that's not something that I like about myself, you know? And again, it's not something that I feel about anyone else. I don't feel that any other woman who is attracted to women is gross or wrong or bad or devious or a pervert, and yet I feel those things about myself. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I logically know that these things aren't true, but there's a part of me that still believes it, and I don't know how long I will, maybe forever. And on the topic of why I decided to come out instead of just continuing to be straight passing for the rest of my life, it's because it does a giant disservice to you. It's not easy to hide that part of yourself. For me, being queer is it's just a big part of who I am, and I know some people don't feel that way, but I do. And I'm the kind of person who wants to make queer jokes about myself and who wants to be open and honest about who I am. And so I didn't feel that it was fair to me to have to stay in the closet for the rest of my life, and that's why I came out. Yeah, that's why I continue to come out. There are so many things that I want to say that I just can't get a handle on. Yeah, like I said, I've come really, really far with accepting myself and who I am. So what I want to do right now is just say some things that I logically know and that are absolutely true. I'm just gonna do that. Just bear with me, okay? This is for me and for you. 1. Stereotypes about queer people do not define me, but if I do fill them out, that is nothing to feel ashamed of. 2. Being attracted to women does not make me deviant or a pervert or bad. 3. I am allowed to live my life to the fullest extent of genuity and being who I am. 4. If someone thinks bad things about me because of who I am and who I love and am attracted to, that's on them, and I don't need them in my life anyway. I will keep living without them. 5. I am not too queer, and neither are you. So those are 5 things that I know are true and believe about you and really hope that one day I can believe about myself. So yeah, this has not been an easy video for me to make. Like I said at the beginning, I am really not very open and comfortable with talking about how I feel and things like that. But I think it's important, and I think that as a society we need a more open dialogue. Because if we had had a more open dialogue whenever I was younger, I would have discovered that I was queer a lot earlier, and maybe I wouldn't have all these little bits of myself that hate other bits of myself. And so I want to foster a more open dialogue for the people who come after me, because I don't want anyone else to have pieces of themselves that are at war. So, if you liked this video, you can follow me on Snapchat. My Snap code will be somewhere, probably around here or here, I don't know. So you can just scan that right in. You know how Snapchat works, you're beautiful and brilliant. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and ding the bell to get a notification every single time I post. Leave me a comment down below with your own personal struggle with coming out and accepting yourself, or maybe it wasn't a struggle for you. Maybe I'm an outlier. Let me know that too. I post new videos every single Tuesday, by the way, so thank you so much for being here and listening to me waffle and get really emotional. Bye guys.